Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to part 3 here of the Top 10 podcast weekend because this is now the third installment. And I wanted to go a little bit different. You know, I've talked about wrestling in the first two. I want to talk football because, probably my second favorite sport. Yes, professional wrestling I consider a sport. Sorry, that's just me, and if you don't like it, it's fine. Football, though. Let me tell you, to come up with this list, and I sat down here and tried to come up with this list. This is the top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. And God, is it the most debated thing I have ever heard. And I know I am probably going to piss some people off. I apologize ahead of time. Because if I didn't put the name in the top 10, I apologize. If I didn't put them up higher, let me know, please. Tell me who is the greatest quarterback of all time. So I'm going to start this list here. And I've only got a top 10. Because this is just what I feel, what I need to do. Number 10 on this list. Two active players on this list, by the way. Number 10, Drew Brees. Drew Brees is arguably one of the best quarterbacks today. And throughout his career, breaking so many records. He's either holding the record or he's second, and pretty much all quarterback, comparable, records here. We're talking passing yards, passing touchdowns, average yards. He's right there. He has a Super Bowl ring. Well deserved. He took a team like New Orleans, who was pretty much the worst team for a long time until he got there. Archie Manning played there, and the best he could do was get him a playoff game. But yep, they ended up winning the Super Bowl. Drew Brees is my number 10. Number 9 is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, you look at him. Some of the great stats here. A part of the top 100 team, of all time, 100 years. 2000s team, has a Super Bowl, went to 2 Super Bowls. So many, probably the best regular season quarterback in NFL history, I got to say. Postseason, he had problems because he had to face Brady. But, regular season, nobody has the stats like Peyton Manning. Played most of his career in Indianapolis. Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, he went to 3 Super Bowls, 1, 2. Excuse me. Most of his career in Indianapolis, got a ring there. Went to Denver. Got a ring there. I call that the participation trophy because he really didn't have great stats, but his defense was phenomenal, and he had a decent running game. And so he got 2 rings. And arguably, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the world that has ever played this game. I put him at number 9 because I got so many people I want to put ahead. So many. Including this one here at number 8, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, of course, Hall of Famer. He was definitely one of the best quarterbacks out there. He got 3 Super Bowl rings out of it. One of the last dynasties. In the whole sports, of football there. You don't see a lot of dynasties nowadays. He had, great company to work with him. He had Emmitt Smith. He had Michael Irvin. They were electrifying. And, he had one of the best careers. He held a lot of regular season stats as well. I just, I can't put him much higher. Excuse me. Man. But I'm going to keep him where he's at. I feel like he definitely belongs in the top 10 as far as, quarterbacks go. Guy I'm going to put ahead of him does not have a Super Bowl ring. He also, like I said, at his time frame, pretty much held all the passing records. and that would be Dan Marino. I mean, Dan Marino, it's a shame he did not win a ring. I mean, he's Hall of Famer. He's part of the all-time team. Really deserves to be on this list. I feel like as far as quarterback minds, he's probably among the top. He had an arm. The man could play. And so I'm going to move down here. Number 6. Put another Cowboy on the list. Mr. Cowboy there. Roger Staubach. Roger Staubach, 2-time Super Bowl champ. 6-time Pro Bowler. All-time 70s decade team. I mean, this was back when football was football. This was very physical. There wasn't, roughing the passer and stuff like that. I don't even think pass interference was there. But, he was one of the toughest quarterbacks to ever play the game. So definitely I believe he belongs on there. He is, definitely amongst the tops in the league ever. So number 5, my personal favorite, number 5, Brett Favre. Favre, all-time 90s decade team, top 100 quarterbacks over 100 years. He made that list, 11-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl victory. Dude, it's Brett Favre. If Brett Favre wanted to, in the middle of a game, if he flew down in a parachute and landed on the field and said, I want to play today, I still think he'd outperform probably at least 70% of the quarterbacks. Most of the quarterbacks in this league are subpar in comparison to Brett Favre. I still feel like Brett Favre could throw a long ball. He's the guy that can squeeze a ball into a window about this size. It's what he would do, Mr. Gunslinger. Truly one of the best quarterbacks, Hall of Famer. Well deserved. Now these next 4 here, this is where it's funny, okay, for me. These next 4. It's hard to put these in order. And yes, I'm expecting debate on this highly. So you tell me, but I'm going to give you my 4 right now. Number 4, I'm going to put Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw, 4-time Super Bowl winner. He did actually have some passing records there as well. During the 70s, he had the steel curtain. He had a lot of help, but he was a good, solid quarterback. He was tough as nails. He would take a shot. If you ever watched his film, I mean, I wasn't alive when he played. But trust me, I've seen enough film to know that, man, tough as nails. There wasn't very many people that have 4 rings. Very many quarterbacks. So it's kind of where I'm at on that. Number 3, I'm going with Joe Montana. Joe Montana, arguably one of the greatest, 4-time Super Bowl winner himself. He had Jerry Rice, so that helped a lot, with passing records. One of the all-time greats. And what's funny on this list, and I didn't put him on there, I'll put an honorable mention on there. Might as well put Steve Young in honorable mention. Should he be higher? I don't know. I mean, he got 1 ring. He always had his problem with the Cowboys in the NFC Championship games. But Joe came out there 4 for 4, whooped people's ass. So, definitely got to say, he is one of the best. And I'm sure there's going to be debate on this. Because number 2, I'm going to put Tom Brady. You're like, Pats fan? Patriots fan puts Tom Brady number 2? How is that? I mean, dude, what can I say? 6-time Super Bowl winner. He's got as many rings as the Steelers do. Talking about Roethlisberger and you're talking about Bradshaw there. I mean, dude, there isn't a passing record that either he doesn't hold, he's 1 below or 2 below. I mean, Jesus, it's Tom Brady. Probably the most, I would almost say chess match quarterback, ever in history. I mean, this guy will play games. My favorite game watching Brady was when he took on the Ravens, and I can't remember which exactly one it was. It was during the playoffs. And Brady's sitting here calling something. Ray Lewis is over here calling something. They're playing the human chess game between the two. And it was, definitely something worth watching. I mean, he didn't do well against the Ravens. Ravens had the phenomenal defense. Maybe I'll cover a top 10 on that in another time. But my number one, Johnny Unitas. I mean, good God. Yes, I was not alive for this guy. Yes, I watched the game films and I have watched him play. I mean, good God. He won Super Bowl V. He ended up losing Super Bowl III to the Jets there, Joe Namath. In one of the most controversial games ever. It led to the AFL and the NFL, merging. 3-time NFL champion. 10-time Pro Bowler. I mean, if you ever watched the one video of him throwing a ball through the tire, I think it was about 50 yards, hitting the glass. And I mean, just, it's incredible. He was truly the definition of a tough quarterback. I mean, this wasn't the day when you had, aerial yards, people throwing for 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 yards, 6,000 yards. You didn't have that. I mean, he had to command the offense. And a little known fact about Johnny Unitas, this was the difference for me too. They didn't get paid a lot, And in the summer, he would actually go paint people's houses. An oddball fact there, So he played hard, and he still had to make a living. So that was impressive enough to know for me. But yeah, Johnny Unitas to me is the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't find anybody, higher than him. Yes, I wanted to put Brady, but I can't. Not my heart. Now I feel a little biased on that. But yeah, you tell me what your top 10 is. I'm curious, folks. I'm going to film a couple more of these a little later, but this one's going out here in a little bit, so stay tuned, and I'm out.